Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're going to be returning to We the Revolution, a strategy game which puts you in the shoes of a French revolutionary judge in the Revolutionary Tribunal during the French Revolution. This is a series that we played quite a bit of several months ago, but we kind of drifted away from it as frankly some interest from all of you kind of seemed to wane a little bit, and also just a bunch of other games came out and I kind of shifted my focus. But I have decided to go ahead and return to the series that I think we're like episode 17 or something like that in the series. After a little while, some of you had asked me to return to the game, and the game actually just came out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch all in the last couple of days. So while this game has been out on PC for quite a while, well, not quite a while, but several months, they did just release the game on console. And I thought that would be an interesting time to kind of go ahead and return to the game. We're playing on PC, but if you do have a Nintendo Switch, a PlayStation 4, an Xbox, you can play this on any of those systems as well. The only thing I've heard so far is that the Nintendo Switch game, at least when you're playing on the handheld and you're not plugged into the TV, the text can be a little bit small on that. So I've heard a little bit of negative response around that. But otherwise, nothing but, I haven't heard really anything else about the console versions. So let's go ahead and jump back in. We're in Act 2 of the game. We're in Part 8 of the game. We've just begun to plot against Robespierre, and we've just recently beat Tinville, the prosecutor, at dice, and had a nice little afternoon with him. As a reminder, our younger son was murdered by some opposition folks, and in our last episode, we also executed our mentor who had played a role in our son's death. So, as a reminder, in this game, we are a judge in the French Revolutionary Tribunal, and we're kind of trying to work our way up to the top of the sort of power pyramid in the French Revolution. We can see here the top of this pyramid is represented by Robespierre, and we can see that there have been other people along the way. Borel, the head of the National Guard, Roland, Pasha, all have been killed as we, attempt to navigate our way to the top of the heap. You can see we are sort of in this mid-tier of power brokers. We're just below Danton and Renard, and who are just below Robespierre, but we're sort of becoming a much more influential figure within the revolution than we previously were. So, with that being said, I think we have some verdicts we have to issue here. So you can see currently our reputation with the common folk is extremely high. Our reputation with the revolutionaries and the aristocrats is not quite as good here. So let's take a look at the different trials, or the different sort of limited. These are basically just sort of, you get like a little snippet and you have to decide how you're going to rule. You're basically ruling people in batches, and we have to see how we're going to rule. Now, we probably want to favor the aristocrats and the revolutionaries a little bit to try and gain a little bit of favor with them, and if it means sacrificing some favor with the common folk, that's probably okay at this stage, given we have a little bit of capital to spare with the common folk, but not so much with the revolutionaries. All right, so the first accused is Paulette Pernet. Allegedly stole the laundry of her neighbor, Adriana Escofar. The clothes were drying in the yard. The apartment of the accused was searched, and investigators found bed sheets that were immediately recognized by Escofar. Yet Pertinent would not confess. So I'm going to go ahead and acquit Paulette because I don't want to kill them over stealing laundry. And you can see by acquitting, it makes the revolutionaries a little bit less happy with us, the aristocrats slightly more happy with us. That's what's represented by the blue and by the orange changes in the bars, and the common folk slightly less happy with us. Okay, so Foucault, Rigal, Siller, and Bossonade. Late at night, four youngsters, Foucault, Rigal, blah, blah, broke the lid off a well and defecated in it as a joke. The watchman who caught them testified that prior to that, the children had tried to drown a cat. Luckily, the animal managed to break free. So we've got, apparently these are four children that are kind of running rampant in the city. They're pooping into wells. They're torturing animals. These kids have some problems. I don't know if that warrants an execution. I kind of feel like this would be something the aristocrats want us to execute, but I'd prefer not to kill people over pooping in wells. That's just my own 2 cents. So we'll acquit them, and you can see that makes, I guess, everybody not as happy. I guess everybody wanted me to kill them or something, but it doesn't really make a substantial difference on opinion. Matthew Rosendahl, a clothing merchant, was dining at a restaurant near Sainte-Chapelle when a waiter, Florian Bosselat, accidentally spilled sauce over him. Rosendahl's silken shirt was destroyed. Why would I kill someone over this? This is just stupid. Like, you spilled something on them? I'm not going to just go kill people. Okay. Tobai Valaton, an infamous thug in his neighborhood, raped and then murdered his former mistress in her own apartment. The body was found by her current lover, who was drinking wine with his friends a few roads away at the time of the incident. Yeah, if you murder someone, you're going to be killed. And instantly we lose all of the positive opinion of the aristocrats, because apparently they want me to let rapists go, and we get everything back with the common folk. But whatever, I'm not going to let a rapist go. Renaud Fouquet tried to smuggle 4 barrels of dried tobacco into Paris without paying duties on them. He used special barrels with fake bottoms. At first glance, they appear to be completely filled with cabbage. Yeah, okay, we're going to execute this guy because, again, he's smuggling shit. And he's a common folk, so we've got some capital to spill with them. Felicette Mares, a cook, accepted money from an Austrian agent who wanted her position, her employer, General Trincadant. She fulfilled the task and went even further. She added poisonous substance to the pâté, killing not only the general, but also his wife, younger son, and daughter-in-law. Yeah, okay, you're poisoning... why would you be okay? Why the aristocrats are totally fine with poisoning people, I guess. Anyway, so our opinion with the aristocrats went down, but we did get a little bit of positive opinion with revolutionaries, so I guess that's worth something. We need to be careful, though, because the aristocrat popular opinion is very low right now. Thank you. Even the least powerful deserves justice. +4 revolutionaries, -3 aristocrats, +2 common folk. Okay. We'll just have to make up the aristocrats somewhere else, because we're getting very close to where they want to kill me.
Who are you talking to? You would be happy to hand power over to people who cannot even read properly.
What? So you're saying that the poor are only good to die at the front?
Oh, perhaps it is the destiny of the Paris Commune to be shot at in order to protect others.
How dare you?
Gentlemen, we met here to make an alliance. We must, since we are all burdened by weaknesses that Robespierre does not have.
Okay, so Danton thinks the peasants are worthless. Herbert thinks that we should be in favor of the peasants. So now we have to try and convince them all to join our plot against him. So we have 5 different strategies or topics that we can sort of try and understand what people's opinion is right now. I don't want to spend what little influence I have on the individual's attitude toward these different subjects, so I'm just going to guess what the best approach will be. Robespierre is a dangerous maniac. I think that should be aggression. I think Herbert will not lose if he has no allies. How does that make sense? Oh, Herbert will lose if he has no allies. That's probably humility. Gobal will gain more discussing terms with Robespierre. Maybe that's manipulation? Let us go together and use the ambitious Tinville as our scapegoat. That should probably be manipulation as well. And Tinville wants a career. So maybe that's a manipulation as well. So we can see the different results. It looks like most of these that we guessed, we got the right answer. Strong argument on Robespierre being a dangerous maniac. Perfect argument on Herbert losing if he has no allies. Strong argument if we manipulate for Gobal gaining more by discussing with Robespierre. And a strong argument if Tinville wants a career. Letting us go together and using the ambition of Tinville as our scapegoat is not apparently a manipulation argument. I'm wondering if maybe it's a humility argument. Or maybe careless, one or the other probably, or maybe aggression. I'm not sure. Wow, it's all of them except. Well, let's see, bullheaded. Maybe careless. I don't know what bullheaded would be ideal for. We'll just have to see how this plays out. So we'll go with aggression.
Robespierre's paranoia has done enough harm already. It is our duty to eliminate such rabid vermin.
France has survived ages of dictatorship. It will survive Robespierre as well.
Why do we even talk to the boor?
Even together we can hardly match Robespierre's power. Do not put your head into the lion's mouth, as he will devour you without remorse.
Do you know something that I do not?
Alexis is right. On our own, each of us are easy prey.
Gabelle will betray you at the first opportunity because it is much better for him to join forces with Robespierre. They both hate the rule of reason, but Gabelle has yet to reveal this to you.
Okay.
Let us replace Gobel with Prosecutor Tonville. He will be our scapegoat.
I will resign from
Fuck.
my post in the Committee of Public Safety. And
That didn't work.
propose that Tonville should replace me. Robespierre will turn his attention to him, and we will gain some freedom to act.
Tonville is a prosecutor and enjoys a good reputation among the people. It is possible that Robespierre could see him as a rival for the position of the highest statesman of France.
All I have to do is show him that power is within his reach. Tonville wants it as much as we do.
It might work. Strict cooperation and trust will be the key to conquering Robespierre.
All right. Let us get rid of Robespierre once and for all.
Did we win? They're intrigued. Success! All right, so we convinced them to join us in our intrigue. We gained 2 reputation, 8 common folk endorsement, and 7 revolutionary endorsements. So now we can really turn to winning the aristocrats back now that we've really got those other guys maxed out. The reputation gain is also important because our reputation is relatively low, I think, or it was. Now we're on to the strategy map here of the different city elements that are kind of fighting. All right, so looks like they're moving a spy into here. They're moving a bruiser over here. This is a mob is inciting. So we've got this whole part of the city in our control. Oh no, we just lost over here. The statue's reached another level of development. You can now seize another building. Intrigue. So, was that a success? Wait, Gobel has died? Alright, so we had is that a failed? Oh no, okay. So we had 1 successful intrigue. That was this trilateral meeting. I think it was successful. Gobel's death. Gobel's son has once more paid him a visit. This time the argument became more heated and included a firearm. We don't know what manner of accusation were made during the meeting. The testimonies of the neighbors, however, lead us to believe that the conversation eventually turned into a fight that ended with a bullet in Gobel's chest. He died where he fell, and Bottine has been arrested. Your murdered child has been avenged. You could exculpate the murderer. After all, you were responsible for luring him out of hiding. Okay. And the next one is prosecutor at the Committee of Public Safety. Perform an action. Convince Anton Tinville. Danton is ready to resign his position at any moment. Everything is happening suspiciously fast. Because you are not experiencing or expecting it, an independent observer would say that you have worked hard to get this promotion. It could also be an obvious trap. Carefree. You have to help us get the situation under control. We'll go with humility here. This is how the greatest have reached for power. Again, humility, I don't know what the best... Maybe that's manipulation. I'm just going to try these 2 out because it's the same reaction, so I'm assuming the same approach will be successful in either case, so at least we should knock out half the options. There's no one more suitable than you. I think that's humility. You have our support. Maybe that's manipulation. All right, so manipulation is strong for support, It looks like humility is good for carefree, so probably should go with humility, because manipulation didn't work there. So humility, and then manipulation at the end. The question is the middle one. There's no one more suitable than you. Maybe that's actually a manipulation one. Let's see how this plays out. Okay. The situation in the city is out of control. There is no one else to help me. You flatter me. Okay, so this one should also be humiliation. Or humility. This is your chance to join the pantheon of revolutionary heroes forever. Seize the opportunity as Danton once did. There's no one more suitable than you. That's probably manipulation. I'm gambling here. The committee needs to be supervised. It must be transparent and lawful. Who else could be assigned to this difficult task? Yes, that worked. All right, we should be good now. Manipulate again. Danton and Herbert had decided that you are the best possible candidate. They asked me my opinion, and I agreed with them. You now have powerful support. This is your chance of a lifetime. Fine. I will think this through and give you my answer tomorrow in the courtroom. So you can see we nearly maxed out the intrigue. And it's another success, +2 reputation, +6 revolutionary endorsement. Allies gained, 1 of 1. And that now gives us our second successful intrigue. You can see the bar is filling up. We need 4 more successful intrigues to ensure that our intrigue against Robespierre is successful. Okay, so we'll close that intrigue. Meanwhile, in the city, what are we going to do? It looks like there are Muscadins inciting the crowd in our own region. I can't move any of my folks back. I guess I can move him back. He's wounded. I can't move him to my own territory, though. So we're losing control of the city. If we go into our statue or our town area, here you can see we're constructing the statue at a 6% rate. 7 days before inspection, 7 times 6 would be 36. We will not quite complete things in time. We can take over another building, which is the printing press, which is the only one I don't think I've taken control of yet. So we'll do that. Hierarchy, are we still in that? Yeah, okay, so Gobal is dead now, apparently, given his son shot him. Posh was sentenced to the guillotine, Gobal was shot, Borel fell during the riots, and Roland was sentenced to the guillotine by us. Herbert is just below Danton. Renard is our rival. He's the one who had something to do with our son's death. We still don't know who this unknown character is in the far right, and again, we are plotting against Robespierre. Okay. Grant immunity. I don't know what that does. I also don't have enough influence points to do that. Or to do that. Spend some time with my family. No, we're not going to do any of that. Let's just go ahead and exit out of here, and we're going to go ahead and move forward, because I don't really have anything else I can do. I'm just hoping that the Muscadins don't incite a riot at my own home as we move forward to day number 9. Egalité, Act 2. Who's this? Bad relationship with our elder son. Who are you? We would like the defendant to state his name. Gerard Boutin, son of Jean-Baptiste Gobal. Incredible! Okay, so he murdered his father. Or at least that's the suspicion. We have this news over here. God save the Queen! You made a mistake. We wanted to give you the information to you for free. As a token of our goodwill, we will send someone to you, a man who knew certain things about your friend. But today we learned that his throat was cut. We are giving you one last chance. Arrange a meeting with Ramal, or whatever you call him, unless you would prefer to share the fate of our friend. We want to meet him today at 9 p.m. I can't send a spy, because I don't have enough influence to do this. I could send guards, or I could ignore. Okay. We'll come back to that. Let's see what the case is here. Protocol. Okay. Case file. The defendant is young officer Gerard Boutin. Strong evidence suggests that he killed the former Archbishop of Paris, Jean-Baptiste Gobal. Yesterday afternoon, in the victim's place of residence, a pistol shot was heard. Neighbors entering Gobal's room Neighbors entered Gobal's room immediately and found a young man with a smoking gun in his hand. The victim was lying on the floor with a hole in his chest. They called the guard immediately as the young man refused to put the murder weapon away. Due to the position of the victim, the crime scene was attended by Commander-in-Chief Francois Hunriot himself. As the latter entered the room, he noticed that Botin had finished loading the gun and was ready to shoot again, this time intending to kill himself. Hunriot engaged in negotiations and after almost 20 minutes was able to convince the officer to lower the weapon. Guards immediately grabbed and incapacitated the murderer before leading him away to jail. Really? We saved his life just so we could execute him at the guillotine? There's one other case file here. During a short interrogation in his cell, the defendant remained silent. Hunriot was present during this attempt to obtain information, which seems strange to me, but he is the commander-in-chief, so he can do as he pleases. Unfortunately, an incident took place after the investigators left. One of the guards returned to the cell, threw himself at the defendant, and kicked him several times, shouting, "What do you know about Robespierre? What do you know about the commander?" I try to avoid rumors, but one piece of gossip could be crucial to this case. Monsieur le Juge is probably unaware, like most Parisians, that it is said young Botin is Gobal's illegitimate son, the very same who had been the talk of the town lately. If that is true, we are dealing with both a tragedy and a mystery. Why would a son kill his own father? I have not been able to determine the truth. Perhaps you will. Okay, so pistol shot, blah, 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 blah. Right, so we've got 7 questions we need to uncover. Let's do that. Okay, so pistol is the method, I guess. Yep. Commander-in-Chief of the National Guard. Is that extenuating circumstances? It is. Suicide attempt. I guess that might be offender's personality. It is. Suicide attempt could also be method. Yeah, I guess. Sentence under arrest. Is that offender's personality or extending circumstances? Personality, I guess. Assault on the defendant. That is extenuating circumstances. An illegitimate son is also extenuating circumstances. So we unlocked every single question without any negative reaction. Meanwhile, it looks like the common folk and the family want him dead. The aristocrats and the revolutionaries want to acquit. We do need to appease the aristocrats. If we go to the notebook, we can see here that the aristocrats' opinion of us is very low, borderline close to execution. The common folk and the revolutionaries have very high opinion of us. Common folk want him executed, so I will piss off my family by acquitting him, but I'll make the other folks who like me less happy. So we are going to need to move toward acquittal. So let's see here. Why did you reload the weapon? Because, again, we can just sort of force him to go the direction we want him to. I decided it was no longer necessary for me to continue with my life. That is obvious you committed a terrible crime. Not for that reason. My mother will die soon. My father lay dead before me. I will probably be guillotined for shooting him. You will. And even if I was released, I would be finished as a military officer. The court would pass its sentence, and then my commanding officers would pass their own. That would be against the law. I can see that you have not been in the army, citizen, but however it is viewed, my suicide would have been regarded as an honorable end to the affair. That is what I think. Okay. Tell me about the assault on you. They tried to interrogate me, and I kept silent. Citizen Hunriot asked me questions, and I still kept silent. Then they all left. Please go to the details. A few minutes later, a guard came in and introduced himself by punching me in the face. Then he asked me questions, just like the others. What questions? Mainly whether my father had said anything about Robespierre or Hunriot. Why about those two? I guess they could tell me more about it than me, or could tell you more about it than me. What happened next? The other guards came in and took him away. I think it's obvious that Citizen Hunriot really wanted to find out if I knew anything. Okay. Why did you keep silent in the cell when the guards asked you questions? Because all of a sudden, many important figures became interested in me. I was visited by Citizen Herbert, then later Hunriot came with the guards. What does that have anything to do with anything? Each of them asked me if my father had told me something unusual before my death, anything that shocked or frightened me. And did he? The revolution is not yet over, and you can only promise me, Monsieur le Juge, that you will take care of my mother. It is not up to judges of this tribunal to make promises of that kind. Tell me where she is and her homeland. We'll take care of her. Do not say, then as you wish. Okay, so obviously he's concerned about the well-being of his Mother, we can summon the witnesses here. I'm not sure if this is going to be pro-acquittal or not. I'm guessing this is Henright. In case anyone here has not recognized me, my name is Francois Henright, and I'm a Commander of Chiefs of the National Guard. Oh, this is the person who our wife befriended, isn't it? And we replaced Burrell with him, and he's supposed to be like our loyal friend, supposedly. How were you able to convince the defendant to surrender? We had a long talk. About what? I told him that dishonoring the military uniform by killing himself was a greater crime than what he had done to the Gobal. And that convinced him? He's an officer. You have never worn a uniform, so you would not understand it, but he has deep respect for the army. Yes, that convinced him. Did you send the guard to attack the defendant? What dealings do you have with citizen Robespierre? None. In fact, we only communicated via letter once. He once sent me congratulations after I was appointed to the National Guard. Nevertheless, your subordinate asked about him while kicking the defendant. From all things he could possibly ask, he was only concerned with what the defendant knew about Robespierre. Cannot explain it. He told you anything, and if he has. I was asking out of curiosity, but if he has not, then it would seem to me the guard must have been wrong to think that Gerard Bottin had obtained adverse information. Okay. So the only other questions we can ask will lead to him being guillotined. I'd rather not do that. Did the defendant confess to the crime? Yes. No, actually he didn't. We didn't really ask. Who reached the crime scene first? A guard patrol. I think that was what it was, wasn't it? Bottin finished loading the gun. Wait. Why are these are not the originals, are they? Defending officer, smoking gun. Neighbors entered Gobal's room and immediately found a young man with a smoking gun. So is it neighbors, I guess? What pushed the defendant to commit the murder? We don't know. We don't know. We haven't asked any of these questions. I don't want to piss off the jury. Maybe I can ask one of these questions. What happened? I came to my father had more important things on his mind than his own bastard. What was the tone of the conversation? It was cold. No, I think it better say ice. My father had a grudge against me. Why? Because I had turned the others and blah, blah, blah. After a short conversation, it was fast. To me, it became nothing more than a piece of meat. Oh, God. So he did shoot him. Yes. I guess a local baker, I'm guessing. It said neighbors rushed in, right? What pushed the defendant to commit the murder? Antipathy toward the defendant, I guess. He viewed him as a piece of meat. Yes. I sure hope that's right. I guess we'll see. Does it not tell me? I guess I have to wait till I accuse him. Okay, so news here. Send guards, I guess. I can't send anyone else. Verdict form, we're going to acquit him. Acquitting him will make the aristocrats and the revolutionaries very happy. It'll make the common folks very upset. But that's what we're going to do. I don't know why. He just admitted to murdering him, but I need to manage the... if I don't acquit him, I think the aristocrats will probably have me killed. We should not kill the boy, let him go, and leave me to live in disgrace? But he was the one who fired the gun. So now they're letting murderers walk free? Alright, we got 3 out of 4. Probably the guards. Unlocked all the questions. Gained 2 influence and 2 reputation. So it gets us the 3 back. Man, if I had known that, I would have sent the spy. Alright. If I just waited till I got that extra reputation. Where would we like to go? Let's go home. I just pissed off my family. I should probably make them happy. It's kind of depressing that they show my little son in there. Be like, oh yeah, he's in the picture of your family. But not really, because, yeah. Alright, so my wife is not happy. My father's almost not happy. My son really hates me. I don't understand, like... Everything else tells me exactly... Okay, so it does show me No one will be happy with the construction of the statue. No one will be happy on working tomorrow's trial. Dad and son will be happy with conversations with friends. Wife, actually everybody will be happy if we go to Cafe Propico. Gather with fit all men and attend a political debate at the one and only Cafe Propico. Hopefully this time there will not be any fistfights. Father gets happier. Son gets happier. Oh, really? Because it didn't. It looked like they were all white. Huh. I need more of my minions here. I'm losing control of the city. So we have control over 5 regions in France. Seizure successful. You seize the printing house. The available actions will help you gain influence, political points, and groups in Paris. Okay. So our bruiser is back to being healthy. Bad relationship with wife. That is going to lead to a -3 reputation. My reputation is currently 4, so we're kind of middle of the road. By the way, ignore that. All those deaths. Look at all those death penalties. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 34 people killed against 31 people acquitted and 3 people sent to prison. All right, so we're going to send our bruiser where? Let's send him to take control of this region because that's 4% for the construction of the statue. Meanwhile, we're going to have our spy fall back to heal. We're at 2%, so we're not going to complete the statue in time. 6 days, 68%. I don't have enough reputation to spend on doing anything. Could improve the relationship with the family. I don't have enough reputation for anything else. We're going to try and manage that. Meanwhile, if we move into the intrigue, you can see here the prosecutor at the Committee of Public Safety was a success. Now we have the option of Robespierre supports the clergy or prosecutor announces his candidacy. Let us start with rumors that could disturb Robespierre's impeccable reputation. We will use Herbert's words and suggest that Robespierre unofficially supports the corrupt clergy. Let Herbert's paper, Le Père Duchesneau, make a few suggestions that the church bought Robespierre and paid for his support. We want to hear whispers on the street claiming that that in this case overthrowing the idol would be a good thing. Blackmail. Diplomacy, espionage. Time to drag Tinville out of the shadows. Concealed maneuvers are Robespierre's specialty. The crowd must believe that Tinville will restore order in the Committee of Public Safety. The convention will follow it blindly as they find the streets even more terrifying than Robespierre. All right. So we can either do blackmail, espionage, or diplomacy. Rommel decides his priests will spread rumors about the alliance between the church and Robespierre. Chance of success, 100%. Yeah, good thing we're doing that. That's good for us. Okay, so I think we're going to end the day. I think that'll move us forward to day number 10 of Egalité, Act 2. Today we only had several minor cases to deal with. Counter-revolutionary rumors. Huh. In any event, we'll come back to that next time. Hierarchy, did something happen? Ooh, de Stael. Known in Paris primarily for running a political salon, she's a woman shut out of the world of big politics and instead operates from behind the scenes, ambitious and eager to emerge from the shadows of her male counterparts. She is the right person for handling matters best discussed in the privacy of the boudoir. Boudoir. She is also well educated and familiar with the intricacies of high society. Is she the individual historically who ended up like moving to Germany when Napoleon came to power? Madame de Stael? I'm trying to remember. I read a book on, it was like I listened to an audiobook that was like 48 hours long on like the age of Napoleon. And I believe that de Stael, Madame de Stael, was sort of his chief not rival, I don't know if it's adversary in Europe. And she ran this high society, and she moved to Europe or moved to Germany when Napoleon rose to a certain level of preeminence, and she knew and interacted with various musicians and people in high whatever. That being said, I think that's going to do it for this episode, guys. We will potentially come back to this depending on if there's still people out there who are looking at seeing this. As a remember, this game is We the Revolution. It was actually just covered by 3 Moves Ahead in a podcast. They had some interesting things to say about the game. I think I agree with some of them, not with all of them. 3 Moves Ahead is probably the best strategy game podcast out there, and I say that as a member of Single Malt Strategy, which is my own podcast that I do with Jean Marciniak, the strategy wargamer, which I enjoy and think is very good, but 3 Moves Ahead is kind of the gold standard. It's the podcast of record on strategy gaming. It's run by Rob Zachney. He writes for Waypoint, and it was originally founded by Troy Goodfellow, who now works for Paradox, who actually was on Single Malt Strategy for an interview. But they have an interesting little talk about We the Revolution, and I think I'll link that in the description. But this is We the Revolution, just came out recently on console, on Switch, on Xbox, on PlayStation. It's been out on PC via Steam for quite a while, and it puts you in the shoes of a judge in revolutionary France, or at least that's the way that it positions itself. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys would like me to return to this game. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.